Seeing the success that other companies had with their mid-range line of DAPs, like iBasso with their DX170 or Tempotec with their V6, Shanling decided to introduce their own mid-range DAP in 2022 and 2023. This is the Shanling M3 Ultra. It is priced at $480 at the moment of filming this video reviews. At this moment, I don't think it is even officially launched on Amazon, but at any rate, it comes with a case. At least my unit did. I don't know if the case will cost any extra. At this point, I don't have a lot of information about its availability, but the package of the DAP is final. So this is the DAP. I have the green version, which is a bit odd. I don't know. It is like an army green khaki kind of version. It has a volume wheel on the right side, which doubles as the on-off switch. It has 3 buttons on the left side, which you can use for forward, play, pause, and backward. It has a Type-C input and the micro SD slot at the bottom, and it has 2 outputs at the top, one in 4.4 balanced format and one in 3.5mm single-ended format. It also has a little LED light at the bottom. It comes with screen protectors applied to top, back, and bottom. This is because all of those areas have glass on them. Now, this is a DAP that I enjoy sonically. It sounds quite good. It may actually be better than the other mid-range DAPs, as we'll explore in this video, but slightly later on. First, let's talk a bit about it. So it has a display, which occupies most of its face. It has a very large and very bright display. If I turn the brightness at maximum, my camera will clip it and it will look white. This is because it is too bright, but it has superb color. It's just superb. I think it has the same display as iBasso DX170. Both of them are better than Tempotec V6. So the display is nice. It is crisp. It looks good. It is nice. The display is a big plus. To play music, you have to rely on either APK to install apps, and it also has Play Store installed, so you can install official Play Store apps with no problems. Or you have the Shanling app, which you are supposed to use if you want to use it as USB DAC or if you want other functions. The Type-C port is used either for charging the M3 Ultra or for using it as a USB DAC. It works as a USB DAC. Now, first thing I've noticed when using it as a USB DAC is strange. So after iBasso DX320, I test every single DAP for delays. And M3 Ultra doesn't have any delay, so you can watch movies in real time. But with one small exception. Music starts playing after about a second after you press play. So there is a second of delay while it is quiet, but it starts playing in sync for music videos. So it doesn't lag behind, it just takes some time to awake the driver. I think that the driver has a huge buffer that needs to be full for it to start playing, which is an interesting behavior, but it shouldn't affect you much unless you are very allergic to 1 second of delay after you press play. Sometimes it's half a second, sometimes it's a second, but I never noticed USB DAC delay. So you can watch movies in real time with no lip sync problems, and you can play competitive games with no problems either. Using it to play music from its microSD card, I also noticed that it has this effect where it cuts the first second of each song, or half a second something. At any rate, it misses the first note of each song, which for most music isn't that noticeable, but for rock and metal it is. Sometimes it just misses that first few chimes on a song, and it's discouraging to me because I'm not used. It is an effect that I was not able to turn off regardless of how much I played with it and regardless of how much I tried to do that, but it's not something that bad. It's just something that you may notice, especially if you are sensitive to this kind of change. It has a dual or single DAC mode, so you can save some battery or you can get the best sonic mode. I don't know anyone watching this video who would want the single DAC mode turned on. I mean, if you paid for the whole thing, you are going to be using the whole thing. It has high and low gain. It has Android mode or pure mode, which will start it in a Shanling mode. And that is pretty much it about the usage. The Prime mode, as Shanling calls it, is very similar to the Android mode. It just allows you only to open the Shanling Music app. It doesn't allow you to start anything else. The problems that I mentioned are present both in Android and in Prime mode on my unit. But as I said, the unit is not quite final, so as far as I know, it wasn't even released on the market at the moment I'm filming this video review. So all of those may be solved with a future firmware update. And Shanling is one of the companies that offers some of the best support for their DAPs. They're also available on Amazon, so you can get there for support. And after a tragedy that I suffered recently, I really urge you to purchase from places with good support. So I have a video card from Gigabyte, which is theoretically a very well-known company. And the video card is important to me because I can't really edit those videos and cut them without a video card, and the process is very slow if I don't have a good one. Like, they make one heck of a difference. And that video card was new, about 2 weeks, and it burned. It just stopped working. My computer wouldn't recognize it. And trust me, if you didn't purchase from Amazon, the RMA process and the fixing process and the service can be quite stressful to deal with. I just sent it back today, so hopefully it will be solved. But yeah, it is quite a stressful experience for me because I cannot really work with it while it is gone. So yeah, I'm filming that with a backup video card that is much less interesting. And I hope that the better one will get back soon because it will be quite complicated for me to work without. It's like an essential part of my computer, that and the CPU. I can't work without any of them. Shanling M3 Ultra has a lot of bells and whistles. It can decode high resolution files and it can do a lot of stuff, but I don't use them. It can even decode MQA and it works with either. But once again, I don't really use it because very little of my music is available in MQA. So I usually rely on Red Book FLAC, and I made that a public thing because most music that I truly enjoy just isn't available in those fancy formats. So why bother with them? I will just listen to what I have in the format that I have. I'm not going to change my music taste just because my music isn't available in some fancy format. And this is something that I noticed about the M3 Ultra. It works. It simply works. It works with every single file I have. I have a lot of files with the title in Japanese or in other languages that are special characters which some players don't recognize properly, but M3 Ultra seems to work well with them. That is a big plus, especially if you are from a foreign country where you don't have the original English alphabet, and everything just seems to work. It is a very fully working device. I have encountered no problems while using it. The maximum power over the balanced output is 260 milliwatts for an impedance of 32 ohms and on high gain. So that is the maximum power it has. Everything else is going to be lower. Still, that should be enough for most headphones, including Aude's MM500 or Olo S5X and such. I even have the Olo S5X in the background. I don't know if it is quite visible. It is somewhere in the top area. It may not be visible, I don't know. Has quite a bit of depth of field, so it should blur the image where the Olo S5X is. And the MM500 should also be visible in the back. I think it is somewhere around that area, but once again, I don't know if the camera will pick up on such fine details. M3 Ultra has 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of ROM or internal memory, which I recommend to not use if possible. Use a microSD card. It can read microSD cards up to 2 terabytes, and I tried my largest 512 gigabyte microSD card and it works perfectly. The main reason you would want to use the single DAC option is because using the balanced DAC or the dual DAC option actually changes the battery life quite drastically. So the battery life is promised to be about 20 hours on the single DAC, and I was able to test it at up to about 16 hours because I use louder volume and I have some screen on time, which should emulate a real usage scenario. But the dual DAC is not able to surpass the 10 hours mark in my test. They rate it for about 14 hours, but that is for a medium listening volume and very little screen on time. While most users will have some screen on time, will browse for their music, and most users will also use louder than medium volume, so they won't keep the volume at half. At any rate, it has quite a bit of driving power. I did not notice any kind of background hiss, and I did not notice a high noise floor, so very good. I'm pretty satisfied with the Shanling M3 Ultra. It is a very fully working device. Now, the sound, because I know you're here about the sound, but for a DAP, all of those things are important. I mean, I just came to the conclusion that for you guys are relevant, so this is why I'm exploring them too. The sound of the M3 Ultra is interesting. It is a very energetic DAP. It is very forward. Doesn't have the largest of sound stages, but it has a very good instrument separation. It has a very, very good clarity, very good control even at very loud volumes, and it is extremely good with the bass. Like, the bass is really full, it is really detailed, and it is really clean. It's so pleasing to listen to it. It is never harsh. I've noticed that it has a tendency to never be harsh or metallic sounding or shrill or fatiguing. It is quite pleasing to the ear. It is the kind of DAP that I keep on my desk right now, even after reviewing it, and still use it because it is convenient. It is easy to use, it is portable. I can power Olo S5X, as I said. That is a headphone that I am currently using while out and about. It is quite light and it is quite convenient. That is a headphone that I really appreciate. It is a very, very pleasing headphone. Also, it has a very natural sound too. So the M3 Ultra sounds quite natural. The name Ultra made me think that it was going to be quite shrill or bright or have an odd signature, but no, it is quite natural, quite pleasing to the ear. It is a very easy to enjoy kind of DAP. It is very easy to enjoy. I hope that in the full written review I will be leaving more details about how it compares, at least sonically, to the X170 and Tempotec V6, because on video I can say this: Tempotec V6 is similar to Shanling M3 Ultra, and I bet the X170 is also similar. They are all very similar. I have to do a lot of fast switching, even some volume matching to really tell them apart, and I really have to look for the changes in sound. They are quite similar, all of them. All of them have a very natural bass, a good bass, a very natural mid-range, and all of them are quite dynamic. So it will be interesting to see in the full written review how they compare direct. I can tell you this: you won't regret purchasing the M3 Ultra if you can afford it, and if you don't find the others at a better price. It is quite good. It is a bit more stable than Tempotec V6, and I did not encounter problems with Tempotec V6, but the build quality is better on the Shanling M3 Ultra. It's quite a bit better, especially the display quality and such. Tempotec V6 sounds amazing. It is less pricey, but it isn't quite as good in the build. This one looks and feels like a Shanling product, which is a bit premium. That is how I would see Shanling as a company. They are a bit premium always. They tend to make everything feel a bit premium. I hope that my video also felt a bit premium. I hope you had a good time at Audiophile Heaven. I hope you'll consider subscribing to Audiophile Heaven. Also leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget I have a PayPal link in the video description if you have a dime to spare. And don't forget to use the Amazon links in the video description if you want to go for the Shanling M3 Ultra. I thank you so much for watching. I enjoy you being here with me, and I hope we'll see each other for other videos as well. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.